Today I'm going to be talking about middle child syndrome, because that's what they say I have. And probably not an unfair assessment. So I'm the middle. I've got an older brother and younger brother, 3 years on either side. And I think you can talk about the burden of older, being the oldest, the challenge of being middle, and the pleasures of being the youngest. That's how I would see it. But they may argue with me. But certainly, being in the middle has this tendency to look for dramatic, like try to get the attention that the older brother seems to be getting, or the attention the little brother is getting, but not like kind of falling in the middle of, especially so evenly spaced as I am. I don't think it's unfair. I think it absolutely probably happens. Absolutely probably. How's that for some disclaimers? And I know there's other people out there who are like, that's not me. But I know that I've got a flair for the dramatic, and I think in some small part, my placement amongst my siblings is probably a factor in all that. And what's interesting about it is, it's not just me. Like, what you have on yourself, right? You pass on to your kids. I watch my kids. They're known in our. It's kind of a running gag that they've got my drama, my flair for the extreme, the wild gestations. My daughter's facial expressions are like, we need to capture them all on video because she's got this great snarl and she's trying to think of something. It's a very animated face, which is just so much fun to watch. And then the son, he's actually in the middle, but he's separated by quite a years from his older brother. He also has this dramatic flair for him, and it's not unearned. He had a school play when he was graduating kindergarten. He played the part of Z. They were going through the alphabet, and each kid had to say their letter and something. A is for apple, which we'll be putting on the teacher's desk. B is for books that we'll be picking up the rest. They had a big rhyming thing. He was Z. He's the anchor, right? So I'm like, oh, buddy, Z. That's an important letter, right? Like you're the cleanup crew. You've got to really. His line was, Z is for the first grade zest. We already have no fear. That was the whole line. Z is for the first grade zest. We already have no fear. And he was just going to deliver it like normal. I'm like, no, you can't just deliver that normal. You've got to really, you're the anchor. You're the guy bringing in closing the whole thing off. Here's how I want you to do it. I tried to coach him. Z is for the first grade zest. We already have no fear. Didn't get him to do it that way. He balked, but he thought it was funny. And now it's become a running gag at our dinner table every once in a while. When someone mentions or gets close to the letter Z, they all want to do Z is for the first grade zest. And my daughter actually does a really good have no fear. She's very good at it. That is a conscious teaching of the dramatic flair that I'm giving off to the kids. But I think there are other things that we're doing around the house that have subconsciously they're picking up. Hey, if I'm just more dramatic, I'll get more notice because that's what Papa does. He's dramatic. And I don't know if that's going to necessarily serve them well or serve them poorly. The whole thing is, when someone says, are you a middle child? I don't think either one of the two of them can really say that, even though technically the middle boy is a middle child. His older brother is a number of years away and not in the house. So I think that they can't say that. What they can say is, I am the child of a middle child, and that would be part of the reason when they sit down with a therapist. This is what they can say to the therapist. Well, I'm not a middle child, but my father was, and some of the things that they carry with them, they carry the sins of the father. Personality. We'll call it the personality of the father. And I don't know that I'm fighting it necessarily. I probably could do a better job. We are actually talking to them a little bit about maybe not so much drama, which of course I probably should set a better example myself. That is a middle child syndrome in our household. If you feel like you fall under it, it comes with good and bad, right? I tend to think that level of flair for some people is very attractive. Like people kind of it's magnetic to some people, and to other people it's very off-putting. Like it seems to be extremes. Like boy, that person's just like always trying to call attention to themselves, or look at that guy's got a lot of flair. Like it can go either way. I think depending on the person, on the audience. I myself don't necessarily regret having this flair and wanting to do YouTube videos. It's just, I think, a small part of that. It also has helped me to take risks with and do things like gallery shows and write books and comic books and all that stuff that I've done over the years. So maybe they'll have that kind of level of output, of creative output. That would be good. And if in some small parts because they crave dramatic or crave drama, I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that you'll find that most. I mean, I wonder. Actually, that's a good. There's probably no data on this, but how many Hollywood stars are middle children? But the whole Hollywood thing. Again, the more I research it, the more I'm freaked out by how do these people. What did they have to do to get their fame? You know, the Harvey Weinstein's casting couch. You know, he's not. I cannot be the only one. So how many horrible things have they had to do in order to get their fame, and then how many things did they perpetrate on other people, so that, you know, hey, I can make you famous too. I'm famous. I can make you famous if you just do this thing for me, which is probably regrettable. Anyways, so maybe we don't want to push our kids towards Hollywood, but being creative, I'm down with that. I think that's a good thing. Whew. Wow, another ramble for the early morning ride. Remember, Z is for the first grade zest. We're ready. Have no fear. And middle children, if you're the one, hit the like button and subscribe. You'll find out more stuff. All right. Good day, everybody. Have a good day.